This is what the greatest thing about sports is. Play.
Coming at you live in the heart of Lincoln, America.
I say, hold up, wait a minute, something ain't right.
On air and online at theticketfm.com. Here are your hosts, Jake Bakoven and Enrique Alvarez Clary.
It's always a great day here at the Ticket when you get some Mary Ellen's. Myself and Rico, very full. So thanks to Charles and the good people at Mary Ellen's for bringing that in. Of course, they have a new lunch buffet that he was promoting. I can't imagine. I mean, Mary Ellen's is as great as it is a buffet. That's dangerous.
If there was a way for me to get out there during time here to get the lunch buffet, I would.
Well, the good news is you can do it Saturday. It's Wednesday through Saturday.
Ooh, might take the family out there.
Yeah, I know.
Might do one of those. I was telling them the last time I had, it's been a while. I need to get back out there. Last time I took some Mary Ellen's back to the house, the kids demolished it. So one of the few things they'll eat.
Oh, really? They're kind of picky.
They eat pretty well. They just don't eat.
Yeah.
Like they'll eat the food if they want to eat the food. It's not that like, oh, this is gross, I won't eat that. They'll eat it. It's just, you got to catch them in the right mood. You got to catch them at the right time.
Oh, kids.
KJ will eat it, and he'll eat a little bit, and then he'll just throw it at you. And I go, what are you doing? He hit me with an apple the other day, like a little piece. We cut up a little piece of an apple, and he like took a bite, and then he threw it at me, hit me in the side of the face. I was like, what are you doing?
Oh, man.
And he just goes, if you weren't so cute.
Yeah, my son dumped. We got him a nice tray the other day, and he dumped it over, and that was it. That was his dinner. Find something else.
Well, there we go.
I'm like, well, all right, because we were trying. We took him out of his high chair or high seat or whatever, where he's all plugged away. So try to give him some freedom, and that's what he does with it. So hopefully he'll get better at that. Also, hopefully for Nebraska, they are better today because they are finishing up their signing class. It's not as big as maybe it used to be. It seems like the early signing day has taken over at one time years and years ago. Around this time of the year, this would be a huge day where we would celebrate and really just make a whole day out of it. Now most people are signed, but Nebraska did add another player today to their signing class, DeAndre Barnes out of Aurora, Colorado. Somewhat of an expected addition. I think he was a lot of people predicted that he would come to Nebraska, but makes it official today. Cornerback / wide receiver in high school, probably coming up to Nebraska to play cornerback. Fits the mold of a lot of the guys that Nebraska's went after, especially as of late. A track athlete, another track athlete.
Love it. I love it.
Yeah, 6'2",
I love all those track athletes.
Oh, I know, you're a track guy.
Shout out to the speed. I just, I'm hoping that it works out this time. Because they tried smaller speed. It's so with this, I know I'm like jumping around and things seem all jumbled around, but there's a thought process behind this. Okay. Just give me a second.
Good.
The speed that this staff is getting is like 6 foot and taller, whereas there's a couple 5'10s mixed in there. But the speed that the other staff was getting was like 5'11 and shorter.
Yeah.
So there's a distinct difference in the size of the speed guys that they're going after. And also their speed guys were like football fast, maybe, I guess is what you could call it. Whereas these guys that Rules Company is grabbing are track fast. Like they've got some legitimate track speed. And oh, by the way, they're pretty good on the football field as well. So there's a small difference there, which I think, and I've asked multiple people we've had on the air that are very vastly more knowledgeable in recruiting than myself about the differences between Frost track speed and Rules track speed. And they've kind of said the same thing where they're going after actual track athletes who also play football as opposed to just guys who seem fast on a football field. And that's not to take anything away from the guys that they recruited because they are fast. There's just a difference in, a Jalen Lloyd or a Malachi Coleman running, a 10-4 or a 10-3 on the track and also being fast on the football field.
Especially, Malachi Coleman with his 6'4", 6'5" frame. I just can't wait to see what he's become. I know some people criticize his numbers in high school this past year, whatever, but he was always just kind of, it's kind of about potential with him. That's why he's a top 100 recruit. And he showed out at the Polynesian Bowl, too, had 2 touchdowns there. So I can't wait to see what he does. He's kind of the top of the class for Nebraska this year. Running through the class averages, again, Nebraska, last time I checked, which was this morning, which I suppose people signing and stuff could change a little bit here, but Nebraska was number 24, according to Rivals. If you remember, that's a big deal because Matt Rule, when he inherited the team, obviously the recruiting class was in the 50s, 60s, or whatever, was able to keep a few of those guys, by the way. Remember, guys that have committed to Nebraska, a lot of them were in-state guys, so you wonder if they committed to Frost and staff or Mickey and staff, or if it was kind of committing to Nebraska. One way or the other, Rule was able to get them back. So 24th according to Rivals, 23rd according to 24/7, and 28th according to On3. Right, a pretty good spot for them to be in. If you look at the past coaches that we go back to, and I'm just doing Rivals rankings here. You just got to choose a database and run with it. Rivals was one that I did, when I was in recruiting. That was my, I wouldn't say I was in recruiting. When I was into recruiting as a fan, as a young person, watching Bill Callahan's class, Rivals was the big deal. So kind of just sticking with that with those rankings. And I want to go back and look at the rankings of the year of the transition year, right? The year that you don't get a full year. Obviously, it's difficult, and that's why there's a lot of credit being thrown Matt Rule's way. You only get a few months now to recruit these guys. And like I said, according to Rivals, Nebraska right now, 24th. Frost actually had a really good year, of course, with Adrian Martinez, according to the rankings. Now, all this stuff, as you remember, a lot of that class didn't end up staying at Nebraska for too long. And I suppose Adrian didn't stay till the end of his career either. But they finished 21st in their transition year. Coach Riley finished 31st in his transition year. Coach Pelini finished 30th, and Coach Callahan, who is the best recruiter of them all, finished 27th. So I know Frost still kind of has a bad ring to his name, I suppose, but he did the best out of all of them. And so I think, again, commendable for Coach Rule in this transition class, doing better than average of the last. It's sad that we're at the point where you can average out with a pretty good number.
Pretty good
past coaches now, but this is the fifth one since Solich. So.
Yeah. Well, so for me, it's not for me. I heard somebody mention this, and I kind of agree with it, where, you have these recruiting rankings when they sign and all of this and what have you, and the hoopla behind it all. But I think, 3 years down the road is when you should be able to go back, look at the recruiting class, and then, determine what the ranking is. Like, how many of those guys, because 3 years should be enough time for you to get settled and start making an impact. So 3 years down the line, 4 years down the line when they're seniors, you go back, you look at that recruiting class, and I think that's, a better indication of the ranking and everything, because like you said, Frost had the best transition class, but damn near nobody from that class stayed for the entire time, their entire tenure at Nebraska. A lot of them ended up transferring to other schools to finish their collegiate careers. So it's a little misleading outside of, maybe like the top five, outside of, Texas A&M this last year. When you have like a number 1, number 2, number 3 class, sometimes that'll pan out. A lot of times those will pan out, and those are teams that are competing for national championships. But once you get past, I don't know, like the 20s, then it's one of those where you could have the 21st ranked class in the country, but 3 years down the line, 10 of the guys that committed and signed with you transferred out, and the other 7 haven't really done much. And you have one guy from that class that maybe is a star in the making.
Yeah.
So it's a little misleading, but I understand. And I also get hyped for the recruiting rankings. I can't, bash it too much.
Yeah, I would say for me, I'm kind of like, I'm more into like the overall rankings. Again, it's not as opposed to the individual recruit. I used to get into that. I think about 20 years of getting a top 25 class and not finishing in the top 25 very often kind of lets you know recruiting is something. It's not everything. But you do have to remember too, kind of like what you're saying with the kind of tiers of recruiting, because if you get a top 10 class, those are the same teams that are competing year in and year out. You can kind of name them. Most of them come from the SEC or that region. Throw USC and Ohio State in there. Obviously Texas and Oklahoma as well. And that's pretty much going to round out your top 10 year in and year out. And those are consistent programs that for the most part, outside of Texas, compete every year for the playoffs. And so you can kind of follow it along. It is always a reminder this day that recruiting is not everything, but it is pretty significant. But kind of to what you're saying as well, I think you kind of can get lost in whether your class was ranked 21st or 18th or 24th. Like, to me, just be in the area, because right at that point, even within the rankings, you're kind of, you might have one more recruit or whatever, or some 3-star that doesn't pan. I mean, it's a very small margin
Mhm.
how much better or worse you are than those teams that you're ranked next to. But in any case, it's still fun to kind of run down them, and you kind of get the final numbers this year. Let me ask you, as far as Pelini, Frost, Riley, and Callahan, I averaged out their recruiting for their classes. So Pelini was a 7-year average, Riley a 3-year average, Frost 5, and Callahan 4, of course. Rank them on the recruiting class ranking average.
Callahan's 1. Right?
Callahan's number 1.
Yeah.
He averaged in his 4 years, he averaged the 16th 16th best class in the country, led by the 2005 class, which was number 5 according to Rivals.
Pelini's going to be his is a larger sample size. I think his is going to end up being low. I put him at 3rd. No, yeah, 3rd. And then, and I'm probably wrong about that. Let's go Riley 2nd. I think he did a pretty good job recruiting.
Actually, Frost is 2nd. Frost had classes of 21st, 5-year average, 21st, 15th, 17th, 18th, and 41st. Kind of tell what was going on. 22.4 for Frost. You were right about Pelini. He is 3rd, 24.14 for his class average, so about the 24th ranked class in a 7-year average. Had the 15th ranked class in 2011, 17th in 2013, and Riley finishes with a 3-year average of 25, so still in the top 25, all the coaches.
Wow.
Which is why, again, I say Nebraska pretty much recruits itself to a top 25 class.
Well, you think Callahan, so, they're kind of setting each other up for success or failure, I guess, depending on how you want to look at it. Callahan recruited really well, as you just stated, and Pelini had amazing success with the guys that Callahan left for him, and he also did a pretty good job recruiting to keep his base going. His recruits set up Riley pretty well for his first 2 years. First year was kind of second year was really good outside of the ending, and then the 3rd year kind of fell off. And then Frost, I mean, you could argue, and many people have, including myself, that his first year was probably his best team, and that was with all of Riley's guys outside of the quarterback, obviously.
And he started 0-6.
And he started 0-6, but that was probably his best looking team.
Yeah, I would argue between that one and the team he went 3-9 with. Like, I think that his best teams he had the worst records with.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
100%, which is very strange.
Sad, but it is what
his second year just wasn't good, and his last year just wasn't good.
Yeah. So it's kind of interesting you run through that. Also, I noticed in the class rankings, the only other ranking that was, again, Nebraska number 24 according to Rivals. The only other ranking throughout since 2004 that finished 24th was the 2016 class. So I went back and looked at that. So maybe you could expect about this level of this level of help from this current group that Nebraska is getting. In that class was Lamar Jackson.
Okay.
Matt Farniok.
Okay.
Caleb Lightbourne's a name.
Look, he was good for a little bit, and then something happened.
The backwards kicks.
Yeah, then something happened.
Trey Bryant was going to be really good. Unfortunately.
Trey Bryant, great gamer.
Injury. Oh, and a good gamer, yeah.
Great gamer.
DiCaprio Boodle, who will be playing in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And remember about DiCaprio Boodle, he was, what did they call those things? The camps. Because remember,
the,
Jim
junior day
Harbaugh
camp?
would have it was
satellite camp.
Satellite camps. Yeah. Jim Harbaugh made that big. Riley jumped on and went and found him. And of course, there's another Boodle in the current class. So
yes.
Thank you,
His
Coach
brother.
Riley, for going to the satellite camp all those years ago. JD Spielman was in that class.
JD Spielman was good.
Bo Wilson was, which I think he was still on the team. Was he the one that was on the team still last year?
Maybe.
For the 2016 class?
Maybe.
I think you might have been. JoJo Doman. That'd be nice to have a JoJo Doman in this class. That was a good one. Jack Stoll, another guy playing in the Super Bowl. See, people underrate the
Patrick O'Brien
2016 class. Yeah, Patrick O'Brien's in there.
POB.
Markel Dismuke, who started 3 years here. Ben Stilley.
Ben Stilley on a practice squad, I think. Or no, he was elevated to
he played
a couple games in the NFL, yeah.
There's other names too that didn't work out. John Reardon, Brian Brokop, Quayshawn Alexander,
Pernell Jefferson.
Greg Simmons. I thought Pernell Jefferson. I love Pernell.
That was supposed to be a dude.
Darian Grimm.
You already said Jack Stoll, right? Yeah, you said Jack Stoll.
Colin Miller.
Wow,
Colin Miller deserves a shout out.
Colin Miller.
Yeah.
That was a pretty good class.
That's not a bad class. That's what Nebraska has. The 24th ranked class could be similar to that.
Lamar Jackson was the 82nd ranked player in the country. 82nd. The 5th best corner. The the 13th best player in his state.
Wow.
In
Of
California.
Yeah. He was that's weird because I don't think of him as part of the Calabrasca movement
Nope, neither do I.
for some reason.
Well, he was before.
He wasn't with the Calabasas crew.
That was 2016. Yeah, no, he wasn't.
No. Because Markel Dismuke was part of the Calabasas crew, and then the next year they kind of got all
then
these
then it blew up. Yeah.
Yeah. Which didn't turn out. It was just Tristan Jevy and Keyshawn Johnson Jr.
It's
It
okay.
didn't really help too
It's
much.
okay. We're not going to talk.
But Markel Dismuke did help, so Calabrasca.
Yeah. There we go.
It is weird going through it that there are 2 guys going to play in the Super Bowl from that 2016 class. So
the more you know.
Yeah. Very cool stuff. So hopefully that is also the future for this class for Nebraska this year. If you're looking at the Big Ten too, just going through the rankings again, according to Rival, Nebraska is 4th in the Big Ten. Ohio State, of course, the number 1 team. 1 5-star goes to the Big Ten. I know you and Nick talked about that yesterday.
Yeah,
Ohio State grabbed him.
Kind of concerning if you want to consider yourself the second best conference in the nation.
Yeah, like you said, it's a developmental league, but Ohio State needs to be competing with those other teams to get more. So I'd say a bit of a down year for Ohio State, probably, even though they're like number 4 in the nation. They're fine.
Yeah.
Number 16 in the nation is Penn State, number 2 in the conference. Michigan right after them at number 17. Nebraska rounds out the teams in the Big Ten in the top 25 at number 24. Iowa up there at 31. Illinois at 35, so Brett Bielema getting things going. PJ Fleck continuing to row the boat at 37. Michigan State at 41. Northwestern somehow out-recruited many teams in the Big Ten, given their last 2 years. They're at number 44.
19 commits.
Yeah. Maryland at 49. Wisconsin at 62. I think they have a few. They don't have too many commits.
14
is going to be holding them.
They got a lot of transfers. That's where they were making their head.
Transfer ranking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They got like 3 quarterbacks to transfer.
They did get a lot of quarterbacks. Purdue and Rutgers tied at 63rd. This is
Purdue lost a 4-star edge rusher to Kentucky today. Yeah, he flipped.
Well, that's not good.
So that would have been their only 4-star.
Remember when Indiana what was that last or 2 years ago? And Indiana did really well.
Yep.
And
Tom Allen was the dude.
Tom Allen was out in the field, and I just remember watching the end of an upset that they had, and his player gave him this proclamation, and it was just like, Tom Allen's going to be able to recruit to Indiana, baby.
I was like, man, his players love him. Like, that's exactly what you want in a coach is like the players love him. They'll stick up for him no matter what. And then stuff went sideways real fast.
And to make it all the way worse is that Michael Penix Jr. left and is now great again.
Yeah. He got hurt, and then he was like, I want to go somewhere where I can showcase my skills more.
Yeah.
So he went to the Pac-12, and he led the nation in passing yards.
What was that? Remember that was the Penn State upset. Remember when he dove for the goal line on the last play of the game?
Yeah, and then he could have got it, but also wouldn't have blamed you if you called him out.
Right? Yeah, it was one of those plays.
Like the tip of the football touched the pylon.
Yeah.
So it was close, but they gave it to him.
Good year for the Hoosiers.
It was
not too many of those. All right, let's take a quick break. When we come back, it's time to talk about LeBron James. He just passed a few people for the assist record. Let's talk about the assist record and shout out to John Stockton coming up next year on the Ticket Water Cooler.
Look at your cup. It's filthy. It probably has a few dings and nicks. Don't be that guy. And where can you go to places like that all in one place? Schedule your appointment today at renewyourauto.com. See what Renew can do for you.
If you want to make new easier, come to O Street Carpet. Hi, I'm Steve Carper. Our flooring professionals can help you choose the best flooring for you, your family, and your budget. We eliminate the confusion. Even better, you'll be enjoying your flooring much sooner. No 8-week waits. We'll install right away and save you money on installation. Floor shopping made easy every day at O Street Carpet. 1732 O Street. Family owned and operated. Always the best value.
Flowers and chocolates are great for Valentine's Day. But you know what really earns you bonus points? A massage. No, not from you, but from the professionals at The Body Shop. Now is the time to purchase a gift certificate for your significant other to make sure you're a big winner this Valentine's Day. Go to thebodyshoplincoln.com and select from the variety of specific massages. Once you've purchased, you can either print out the certificate or email it to the lucky recipient. Do Valentine's Day right this year with a massage from The Body Shop at 48th and A.
Meeting your goal of having a healthy diet has never been easier than with the Venue at Home Healthy Living subscription. Chef-inspired meals that are health conscious and delivered right to your door every week. All you have to do is heat and eat. Receive meals every week, designed to help you meet your dietary goals. Order your custom healthy meal package today at venueathome.net.
Early break with Sip and Jake.
Brett Maher misses 4 extra points against the Cowboys. As a special teams coach, what do you do in a situation?
First of all, you get back to routine. You don't overplay it a bunch where it's just like, think about this. But I'd like to know he always stayed on the hash, on the left hash. So all those misses came from the left hash. You can put the ball in the middle or you can put it on the right hash. I wonder why he didn't change. If he just felt, hey, this is what I do. So that will be an interesting question for me to ask him.
Early break with Sip and Jake from 6 to 8 every weekday morning.
Tom Callahan here for Coppell Chevrolet GMC, wanting to say Happy New Year and thank you to all of you for your continued support. We have just closed out another outstanding year. We want to start 2020 with the bang. The new GMC and Chevrolet inventory continues to roll in, and I'll actually be picking up my 2023 GMC later this month. So interest rates continuing to climb. Coppell is partnering with General Motors and now offering 2.9% APR on select models. So we invite you to the dealership. Check us out online at CoppellCars.com. You'll be glad you did. All deals with approved credit.
Water heater gone? Call Bryant. The price you're quoted is the price you'll pay. And in most cases, same-day replacement. Bryant Air Conditioning, Heat, Electrical, and Plumbing, 467-1111.
People first is more than a nice sentiment. At American Senior Benefits, it's the mission. If you're ready for a career where you can truly put your customers' needs ahead of everything else, this is for you. American Senior Benefits is one of the leading senior market insurance product distributors in the country, and they're looking for high-energy applicants with strong communication skills. Enjoy on-the-job training, work environment, and unlimited income potential. Visit ASBMidwest.com to learn more. American Senior Benefits. The Empire brand is growing with ESC Fabrication and Sandblasting. ESC is your place for custom handrails, industrial and commercial painting, and more. ESC provides custom welding for aluminum and stainless steel and media blasting of all sorts. ESC, great attention to detail. They stick to deadlines and keep within your budget. If you can dream it, they can make it. Contact ESC Fabrication and Sandblasting in Waverly 07329.
Water Cooler, brought to you by Wingstop on 93.7 theticket.com.
This is the Ticket Water Cooler here on 93.7 The Ticket. It is time for a crossover with Nick Sainer jumping in studio, as well as, well, Rico will be here soon. He's disappeared. Yesterday, he disappeared off the stream, and he was sitting right in front of me. It was a glitch, but kind of scared me a little bit. I don't know what he's got.
I don't know where Rico's at.
Yeah, he said he'll be there in a second. I think it might be something going on. Something going out in the hallway, but
gotcha.
He'll be back here. Last night, a big night in the NBA for LeBron. LeBron, of course, chasing Kareem in his all-time scoring record. He's only 89 points away. I wanted to get your guesses here because he did something that's special to me. Everybody likes scoring. I like assists. I think assist record is very cool. LeBron just passed 2 more guys and on his way to become the 4th all-time leader in assists. So there's been 7 players all-time that have passed 10,000 assists in their career. I'm going to ask you to guess.
I know John Stockton's up there.
John Stockton is number 1, and not only is he number 1, he had 15,806 assists, and the next closest had 12,000.
Yeah, I saw this list on Twitter last night, and I'm blanking on the names completely.
Just think of all-time great passes in the NBA. I was hoping Rico would be here.
Yeah, no, Rico's the better person to ask here with the NBA. Speaking of the whole LeBron chasing it, I wanted to ask Rico if he was concerned about LeBron breaking it against his Knicks. Now, if you are an NBA fan, would you rather LeBron break the record against your team or not?
I mean, kind of part of history, I suppose.
It is part of history.
You'll probably beat the Lakers either way. So, I suppose as long as you get the win.
The Lakers, they got Anthony Davis back, so it's back. It's better. Okay, so career assist leaders.
Jason Kidd's probably up there somewhere.
Jason Kidd is number 2 at 12,091.
Where would like Steve Nash be?
Steve Nash just got surpassed by LeBron. So he's now number 5. He's still top 5. 10,335.
Is it an act? Is like Chris Paul up there somewhere?
Chris Paul is 3rd. Good guess. 11,246.
And then it's LeBron number 4.
Yeah. So you've got Stockton, Kidd, CP3, LeBron, Nash, 2 more to round it out. One you'll never get, and one
I will
think
never
back.
get.
Yeah.
I have no clue, Buck.
All right, let's go all the way back to the 80s. That's where Magic Johnson was widely known as one of the best passers of all time. He's number 7 at 10,141. The only other guy to get over 10,000 that we haven't mentioned, Mark Jackson. Mark Jackson, 10,334, but not often thought of as one of the greatest point guards of all time, though for his time was very good in the 90s.
Yeah, Cubsker on the text line says, Nick, our Chicago Bulls are straight up falling apart. Cubsker, I hate to tell you, man, but I don't think Zach LaVine's going to be there much longer. DeMar DeRozan's luster has worn off. The Bulls are atrocious. So I don't know.
Lonzo's not playing though, right?
Lonzo's not playing. There was that they started off really hot, not this season, last season.
Yeah.
But here they are. They're showing their true colors here. And thank you, Mississippi Mud Dog. Appreciate it. So, okay. So I hear we were talking Bronny, or we were going to talk Bronny.
Oh, maybe Rico was. I didn't talk Bronny.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because Rico told me he was going to talk Bron. Oh, maybe LeBron.
Bron, yeah.
What did you think I meant?
Bronny James.
No. When I say baby Bron, I mean LeBron James.
Baby Bron is LeBron James.
That's what I call him, baby Bron.
Have you guys seen all the videos of the differing angles
of him freaking out
against the
Nets?
the Celtics? Yeah, where he just gets on his hands and knees. And he's just like, what is going on?
Yeah, he did the same thing against the Knicks when somebody was called for an offensive foul. Oh, the Knicks had that game.
Or do you want LeBron to break the record against the Knicks, or you would rather not?
I don't care.
Yeah,
everybody else breaks records against the Knicks. What's the difference?
Okay, so
it's special to do it in Madison Square Garden.
Yeah, he got a triple double against them. They had the win. If why is Julius Randle ISOing in the final seconds when Jalen Brunson has been on fire?
It's like we've seen that show before.
Jalen Brunson has been on fire. He was wide open at the top of the key. And Julius was getting double teamed, and he still tried to take it up against Anthony Davis and LeBron James. What are you doing? What are you doing?
Hey, it's Julius Randle.
Then they lose in overtime. Wasted a great performance. I'm pretty sure there have been 4 separate instances where a Knicks player scored like 38 or more, and they lost the game.
Mm-hmm.
Just wasting good performances.
That's all right.
We need to build some depth.
How are the Knicks doing this season in terms of like playoffs?
They're in the hunt.
They're in the hunt.
I think they're maybe just right outside of the play-in game. I think they're the 6th seed right now. They might have dropped down into the 7th.
The West specifically too is like the middle of the Big Ten right now, where it's like after 2 or 3, like everybody sucks, but equally they're all like 500.
Everybody's bad, but bad at the same level.
Yes. By the way, we did the top, Rico, you missed this, the top all-time assist leaders, Stockton, Kidd, CP3, LeBron, Nash, Mark Jackson, and Magic. If you look at the steals, I'm a big Stockton fan because I think some of his numbers.
Stockton's far and away number 1.
You're not going to, he's far away number 1 in assists. Also steals, he's got 3,265. He's number 1. That's almost 600 more than the next leading guy.
Yeah.
Which also happens to be Jason Kidd. So if you look at the Jason Kidd and Stockton, both number 1 and number 2 for steals.
Jason Kidd doesn't get the respect he deserves.
Probably not.
Although they called him Asen Kidd for a while because he had no J.
Yeah. And he's actually one of the top 3-point shooters.
He is. He turned it around.
Yeah.
He was look. Jason Kidd was one of the main reasons why the Knicks were so good back in 2012, 2013.
That was at the end of his career.
I forgot Jason Kidd played for the Knicks.
He was the point guard, and
I was just thinking about him on the Mavs.
Carmelo Anthony with a senior point guard. That's how you get him to play better.
And 38-year-old rookie Pablo Prigioni.
We love Pablo. Watch it. We love Pablo Prigioni.
Oh, dude, I do too. He was just really old.
That was my guy.
He
played like 2 years.
CP3, by the way, also top 5 in steals. That's kind of crazy that 3 players are top 5 in steals and assists. LeBron, by the way, top 10 in steals, number 9.
You wouldn't have thought that. CP3, the point guard. but getting towards the end of his godly life, apparently.
Just not in the playoffs.
I'll admit, guys, there was about a 2-week period where I was heavily watching NBA, and then I'll be honest, I went to Husker baseball's practice, and I thought this is way more interesting.
You're into you're into college baseball.
We're 16 days away from Husker baseball, and as we got on the text line,
Mississippi Mud Dog pitchers and catchers reporting about 2 weeks.
Yep. See, there you go. And they said, won't be long until I can bash all your bad baseball takes. Well, here's one for you, Mississippi Mud Dog. Chicago Cubs have one of the best middle infields in all of baseball.
What's their win total?
Dansby Swanson and Nico Horner.
What's their win total?
I don't know. I haven't.
Are we going to do that again?
We can do that. We'll happily do that.
Love it.
I got close. We got one game off because they caught a heater at the end of the season.
Real spicy.
So I hit him with the like 75.5 is what we're gonna call it. And I think they finished with like 73 or 74.
It got real
wins.
Spicy.
But it was hilarious. Yeah, Mississippi. I know the Cubs won't win the Central. They'll probably finish third in the Central behind the Cardinals. As much as it pains me to say, Cardinals will win that division, and then the Brewers will probably be second.
Give me the Brew Crew to win the Central.
Now I will say this: Major League Baseball. Sorry, Bach. I know you don't care, so I apologize.
When the Red Sox are down, I kind of
they're going to be bad. You want to talk
And
about
they are bad,
a bottom feeder of the major leagues right now? It's the Boston Red Sox.
Hey, they got some
Here's
Royals players.
Yeah, exactly. That's my exact point.
That's the problem.
Well, here's the issue. Here's what's interesting about this season. No shift. There's no shifting.
Oh no, the Yankees are in trouble.
Bingo. And a guy like Cody Bellinger
is going to thrive.
Is actually going to be able to hit the baseball.
Actually, you know who's really going to be able to hit the baseball? Giancarlo Stanton.
You're right. No shift. It's the entire league has DH. I mean, or universal. That's the word I'm looking for. Universal DH.
Well, that was last year too.
That was last year, but I'm saying
but
these
baseball's
are the newer rules.
For
the better.
Not wanting to change for
baseball's
years.
changing for the better.
They got to figure out a way to keep an audience.
When did shifting was that introduced? Do you know?
Oh gosh,
because I think
it was probably less than 5 years ago. It's
been a thing, but people just didn't do it because analytics didn't nobody cared.
Yeah, nobody kept track of it as intently as they did in like recent years. But it was like where you would move maybe the third baseman and shortstop, you would move them over a little bit.
Yeah.
But then like last year and 2 years ago, it got aggressive to where it was like you put your entire infield like from second base to the right side to field a left-handed hitter because analytics told you, and many times it did work out for the defense. Like
there'd be one person on the left side of the infield, and it'd be the third baseman damn near on second base. So if that person somehow pushed it, I mean, they're getting to second pretty easily.
Yeah, no. So it's kind of interesting to think about though. Like, so I mean, universal DH for another season and no shifting. I'm curious to see like what the offensive analytics and numbers, how they shift and how they change from last season to now this season.
What are your thoughts on Husker baseball coming up? Obviously a down year last year, a lot of new additions.
It's the third straight year that Will Bolt is adding over 20 new faces to his roster. We said this last year, had a lot of conversations about it last year that when they made their run into Arkansas, into the regional, people didn't realize like how many COVID seniors they had and how many just experienced dudes were returning and like Jackson Hallmark and Logan Foster and like you had and Joe Acker as well. Like you had these experienced guys. Luke Roscom's on that list that got the extra year because of the COVID pandemic. And then, so that's obviously going to hinder your development in terms of off the field leadership in your clubhouse. And so last year we saw the results from it when guys that would have had to step up and be eased into the transition were just automatically forced to be the guy last season.
We need you to play.
Yeah. So I mean, I think it was just a tougher transition last year. And now this year, those guys that were forced into those leadership roles last year are now into year 2 of being those guys. So I expect better season this season around. I mean, for Nebraska baseball, interesting enough, Kyle Perry is going to be a reliever instead of a starter. So
that's less taxing on his arm.
Less taxing on his arm and potentially more effective and more usage.
I like it.
Like they're able to use him more often rather than every 5 days. So there's that. You got to stay healthy. I mean, Colby Gomez dealt with 2 arm injuries. Kyle Perry's now dealt with 2 arm injuries. It feels like every single year. Jacob Buns was one that was a guy that was out for the entire year last year.
Do you think it'd be better with Colby Gomez if you use him as your closer, use him as a 1 inning reliever, or just keep him at first base and just use his bat?
So interesting enough, I think Griffin Everett's going to start playing first base more often than not.
Okay.
While I'm blanking on the catcher's name. I'm blanking. I want to say he's from Minnesota. Either way, he played Josh Caron.
Okay.
Josh Caron will probably be the full-time catcher for Nebraska, while Griffin Everett plays first base. The middle infield. So they have a third baseman, Dylan Carey, who's a true freshman from Colorado. Really, really talented, and really excited about him. So he'll probably start at third base game 1. Shortstop will be Bryce Matthews. Max Anderson will be second base, and Griffin
Max
Everett
is moving to second?
Max Anderson will probably be second base, and Griffin Everett is moving to first base. And outfield still TBD. So
That's interesting and exciting for Husker baseball to come around. I did want to end the show on one more question for you guys. Sean Payton, of course, is going to be traded to the Broncos. Yes, traded for some draft picks, including this year's first round draft pick for the Broncos.
They still have that?
They still have the trade?
No, they still have their first round draft pick?
Yeah, it's like 29th or something, I guess.
Oh, so somebody else.
It's like a traded pick.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was going to say,
at least according, I was listening to Chris Rapp this morning.
I thought they gave up everything for Russell.
Yeah, they must have had something there. But in any case, so Sean Payton, now the coach, and so a lot of people are kind of asking, did they give up too much or the draft and all that stuff? My question with Sean Payton is because everybody sees it as a home run hire, and I think that you probably should, but I will say this because he's one of those guys in one of those teams that I just kind of think of which team or which individual in sports do you think got more run, got more respect than anybody for just one title, because Sean Payton does indeed just have one Super Bowl championship, which is great, but there's
Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers.
See, there you go. Those are some good names. My Celtics, my 2008 Celtics always get thrown out there.
I'm like, you won once.
One title.
Doc Rivers, chill out.
I always kind of think of Bob Stoops in this category. Unfortunately, I mean, he was there a lot.
Big game Bob,
but only won one title. Any other names that come to mind? I mean, because as much as I'd love the hire for Sean Payton.
He
only has one, and he didn't even go to another Super Bowl.
I was about to say Dabo Swinney, but he has 2, right?
Yeah, Dabo Swinney has 2. Jimbo Fisher, I suppose,
has,
but his name is dropped significantly, so he doesn't get as much credit for that.
I have to think back on everybody else that has just one, but honestly, my go-to is Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers. Like, you want to talk about those two being the greatest of all time, and I get it, the numbers, and the accolades and everything, but also you've had 2 of like the top 25 greatest quarterbacks to ever play the game, and you got 2 Super Bowls out of them.
Can I? So we argued about Aaron Rodgers that one day, Rico. I'm somewhat changing my stance because of the Tom Brady news.
Yeah.
Because Aaron Rodgers will not be done, because Aaron Rodgers wants to be a first ballot, and Tom Brady is a first ballot.
Yeah, I feel like Aaron Rodgers already. I feel like Aaron Rodgers is already a first ballot.
Yeah,
I feel like now, but
if you want to solidify
he's going to stay in the league. I think
I never thought he was going to leave. It's just will he stay at Green Bay, or will somebody trade 2 firsts for him?
I want to trade change my stance just a little bit on that.
You still think 2 firsts is too much?
I don't know. I've been going back and forth.
I think if you've got the team, 2 firsts isn't bad.
I guess if the Jets believe that they're just a quarterback away,
and that was my only argument.
I suppose it's worth it, whatever.
That was all I was saying. They think they're a quarterback away. 2 firsts means nothing to them.
You just brought it up to say Rico won that argument. Is what you're saying
it's not even that. It's like it's not even that, because I still don't. I don't know. 2 firsts just seems like a lot, but I guess that's what you have to pay now for good quarterbacks. Like, I guess that's what we saw with Russell Wilson. That's just the market now, I suppose.
Yeah, whatever.
We saw it with Sean Payton, for goodness sake.
I win.
These guys will continue arguing and try to win their arguments coming up next year on the Happy Hour on 93.7 The Ticket.